Good morning, and thank you so much for joining me today for a little morning beach photography. Right now I'm underneath the Oak Island fishing pier, which is behind me and above me, and I'm just taking some long exposure photos of the pier jutting out into the water because I just love those leading lines. And so yeah, I don't really have an exact plan for this morning's photography outing. It's just kind of visiting maybe several different spots while before I head back to the Winston-Salem area in North Carolina. And so I was eating last night at a restaurant, the Coco Cabana restaurant and everything, and I saw this pier and I'm like, oh, I know where I'm coming tomorrow morning. So I'm doing some long exposure photography right now. I have both the polarizing filter on. I'm using my 24 to 70 millimeter lens. And so right now I have my polarizing filter on stacked with a 10 stop neutral density filter, mainly because I'm trying to smooth out the waves kind of coming in onto the beach. And so my settings are 13 seconds, f6.3, ISO 100, and right now my focal length is probably like a 45 or so. Maybe it's not quite 50, so I'm going with 45. So I've shot some closer in, some further out. We'll see if I pull out the 70 to 200 to really compress the background, but I may not, just because of sand and whatnot, and kind of wanting to shoot a little bit more wide angle shots today. But yeah, so I think I'm really liking these shots. We'll see what they look like once I get them on my computer. Chances are they might be black and white unless I can do some stuff with some color, because it's another overcast day here on the Atlantic Ocean. So anyways, we're just going to explore a little bit, take some photos here and there. And I think that's kind of what this video is going to be about, just kind of some of the different little scenic spots before I head back to the other side of the state. So anyways, we'll let's do some more photography. So I kind of moved to the side of the pier to get it jutting out into the ocean, and I'm really liking this angle, especially at a wide angle. I'm kind of shooting this at 24 millimeters, and I'm really liking it low to the ground. There's some interesting clouds, textures in the clouds and stuff, so it's making for, I think, actually a pretty nice photo. And everything with the water coming in, you got the pier, and you got the interesting clouds. So I'm excited to see what those kind of look like on the computer. I'm gonna maybe walk around just a little bit more, trying to find some different angles. I'm now shooting at a faster shutter speed. My last several photos have been 160th of a second, f5.6, ISO 100, so I'm floating around there. So I just have the polarizing filter on right now for those faster shutter speeds, especially getting it low to the ground, getting a little bit of the waves crashing and stuff. So I'm just going to explore a little bit more. The colors are really soft this morning because it is pretty cloudy. I'm just going off that direction. It's just very, very, very soft. So I'm gonna probably go that way, maybe towards some of those seagulls and stuff, and just kind of do some photos, probably maybe a little bit more handheld. We'll see. But it's just kind of one of those peaceful mornings. Eventually I'll have to like go find some other places to photograph, because there's only so much you can see with sand. but yeah, so I'm gonna jut that way, find maybe some different angles, maybe go up on the boardwalk on the pier. Since I'm here, might as well go take a walk on the pier. So anyways, we're just gonna take a few more photos and different angles, and we'll continue on. So I found this little seashell that has like the center of it's kind of missing, and so I've been taking some more close-up shallow depth of field with it, and I just find it's really pretty. It's just kind of like this interesting little seashell that I just had to take a picture of, and that's kind of the beauty of not really having an agenda, not really having like a hike or something that you're going on. You're just out exploring with your camera, just finding those little nooks and crannies, those little things of interest along the way. So yeah, I just came across that seashell and I just had to take a photo of it. Hopefully they look as good as I feel like they do on the back of my camera. Hopefully they look as good when I go to edit them. But yeah, it's a really pretty morning, and there's people with their dogs. I love the ocean. That's all I could say. We'll just keep on exploring. Alright, so over here at the Oak Island Lighthouse, which is right behind me, and there's this nice lovely boardwalk with some of the sand dune grasses and stuff, and the ocean off behind me. So I'm taking some photos with the lighthouse. This is the perfect opportunity to use your wide angle lens with the lighthouse, and trying to get the lower perspective, trying to get things into the shot and stuff. So I have quite a few photos that I took at 24 millimeters. Just general settings of, ISO 100, like 160th of a second. My f-stop, my aperture has been like 6.3, 7.1, kind of just hovering right there, just kind of depending on whether the sun kind of pokes out or not. But it's just really peaceful, just really calm. That's how I can feel like I can describe the area and stuff. So we'll see what kind of those photos look like. I kind of got a couple shots of the boardwalk with the lighthouse and stuff. We'll see if I really like them or not. I feel not 100% sure if I really like the shots or not, but we'll see what they look like once I get them onto the computer and start editing. Because the boardwalk was kind of more in the center of the frame, and then the lighthouse was kind of on the right side. So we'll see if I like that or not. But the boardwalk kind of juts that way a little bit more, so we'll try to get a couple more shots of the lighthouse and the boardwalk and the sand dunes. So I'm kind of fun. This is just kind of fun, just kind of exploring a couple different places while I'm still here on the coast before heading back. And I'm kind of glad that I'm not trying to do like some hike or with one destination, because sometimes it's fun to just kind of do a little bit more travel photography than necessarily like a landscape hike or nature hike photography. So kind of fun doing a little bit more travel photography. So just gonna kind of explore a little bit more and take some more photos. So I came down here on the beach outside of the Oak Island Lighthouse, and I'm gonna try to see if I can't find a good sand dune vantage point with the lighthouse in the background, because I really like that. One thing I will say is that I have been using my circular polarizing filter to help with any type of glare with the sun and any type of colors to make them pop just a little bit more. But we're gonna see if I can't try to find a good vantage point with the sand dunes and some of the sand dune grasses and the lighthouse in the background. So I'm just gonna kind of wander up and down a little bit along the coastline to find that perfect spot that I'm looking for. So, okay, I kind of found this particular sand dune. I like how it's curving off from the left with the lighthouse kind of off-center right of the photograph. So I think I kind of like this particular vantage point. It works, I think, well with the lighthouse and the sand dunes. So took a couple of photos from this particular vantage point. We'll see how I like it. One of the things is it's like I'm either going to have my foreground slightly blurry or the background, or I mean slightly out of focus, and then or the background slightly out of focus. So kind of have a couple shots of both of those, and we'll see which one I like better. All right, so I made it to what I think is going to be my last location for today in this video, and that is this marsh walk that is in Southport, North Carolina. And so just a little bit ago, we were out that direction at a lighthouse, and I don't know if you can see it or not in the video. It may be really small, but there was the lighthouse, the Oak Island Lighthouse. That's that direction. So we were over there. Now we're over here, and yeah, so this marsh walk is basically, there's this boardwalk that just goes across this salt marsh, and there were some really great, I think, wide angle photos opportunities with the boardwalk and the salt marsh and then this gazebo thing. So I feel like it made for great leading lines through a really kind of almost bland scene color-wise. Anyways, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap up this week's video. I'll probably take a couple more photos, but I'm a little hungry, and so I'm gonna go get some lunch at this, what is called Fishy Cafe that's just over that direction, and then head back to home to Winston-Salem. So I really appreciate you guys watching this week's video. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and sharing it with your friends and family. Please let me know in the comment section below which photos were your favorite from this week's video. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I hope that you do subscribe to my channel so you can continue to come along on my photography adventures. And if you are currently subscribed to my channel, thank you guys so much for the support. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. And I'm gonna go grab some lunch. So you guys take care, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.